Welcome to DevOps Practitioner Training Program organized by EDUeki Trainings. In this demonstration, I am going to talk about program highlights, curriculum, and the goals that are getting delivered with this DevOps Practitioner Training Program. First, let's get into the program highlights. We are going to give you the learning notes documentation for each session. The online session is going to be conducted from Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. IST. Each session will be 1.5 hour duration for the actual training discussions plus additional 30 minutes of time for the question hour. Additional to that, we are conducting the DevOps workshop sessions. These sessions will be conducted at 7 a.m. IST from Monday to Thursday. During the workshop sessions, we are going to give you the enhanced learning capabilities in terms of project discussions, project implementations, interview preparation, and a lot more. We are going to give you the technical support during the learning time with the specialized web portal tools that we have, along with the WhatsApp group support. We do come up with 5 real-time top projects which will give you the hands-on experience on the DevOps technology. And we do give you the weekly assignments on every Friday that will give you the exploration in the enhanced learning to hand. We do provide weekly assignments on every Friday along with the solution document that will help you to have a hands-on experience during the learning time. We do provide the recordings of all these sessions, and the recordings will be available for you to access for 1 year time. We will help in terms of preparing a customized resume as per your profile. We do conduct mock interviews and give you the mock feedback, and we do give you the recordings of all these trainings, and we do conduct the one-to-one meeting to address your personal individual queries related to your career path. I'm sure most of you having still a question, is this a real-time training? Let me take you guys to the online shopping portal websites. Here you can see the @shopper.com, which is the online retail shopping portal website. The way how you guys are using the retail web applications to purchase your products from online portals. Here, this is the @shopper product that we are going to use in our DevOps Practitioner Training Program in order to show you how a DevOps engineer exactly participated in giving the support to make this type of online shopping web applications are alive and accessible to the end users. As you know, every end user will be using this type of real-time based web applications in order to sign up your account. Let me quickly create an account to understand how the online shopping portals will be working. Of course, the @shopper.com is a product that we are going to use to demonstrate you exactly how the real-time web applications will be deployed, accessible, and how a DevOps engineer will be working for this. Let me simply create a username to see how this product works. Let me create a username PREDDY and let me go for a password PR123. Let me give the pr@gmail.com and let me supply the mobile number. Let me click on sign up. Now the user account is created successfully. Now let me log in into the account PREDDY and PR123. Sign into the shopping portal website. Now you choose your favorite product from the list of the catalog items. Add the product to the cart log. Increase the number of items to be purchased. Then you go to the cart so that the products are added to the cart. Then you complete the payment process by doing the checkout. Then you select the payment mode, supply the information here to do the payment authentication. Let me supply the payment details here. The cardholder name, let's say, the card number, and the expiry information, and the CVC code. Let me click on submit. Once the payment is successful, you can see that the orders are created successfully. Excellent. Once the order is placed, you can go to your profile and can look for your orders and can click on track to track exactly your product is in which location and when it is going to be get delivered. This is a typical online shopping portal web application that you guys are using, and every day. The same kind of application that we are going to use here to demonstrate exactly how a DevOps engineer is participated to or contributing here to make this type of web applications are live. Yes, definitely. Looks simple, but there are a lot of technology that is involved behind these web applications to make them user friendly. There are multiple tools that we need to make use of, like the microservices admin tools to ensure that the backend applications are working as expected to give you a user-friendly web applications live and accessible. The tools like a Rancher to manage the backend infrastructure and applications. A kind of a Kiali, a service mesh tools to understand the dependencies of different applications. A kind of a Grafana tools in order to exactly monitor the metrics of your applications, various different metrics dashboards. The tools like a Kibana in order to have a centralized logging in place. We are going to navigate through all of these different tools and the technologies to address exactly how these type of web applications are going live. I hope this is the way how you are getting the real-time experience in managing the real-time applications. This is how we are going to conduct the DevOps real-time practitioner at training program. Well, let's continue the discussion here. Why only DevOps? How exactly the DevOps is playing a role here to make these type of web applications are accessible to the end users. As you know, in order to have these type of ad shop or online shopping retail products accessible to the end user over the public internet browsers, the developers are working hard to develop the functionalities. Usually, the developers will be following the Agile development processes to develop the functionalities. They do integrate and test the code and continue doing the development of further functionalities. As and when the code is being developed by the developer, it's the DevOps engineer responsibility to process the code, promote the code, and take this code towards the deployment stage and make it running. DevOps engineer is following the continuous integration strategies, continuous security strategies, and the continuous deployment methodologies to transform the code it into the number of stages and make it ready for the deployment and ensuring that the code is deployed and it is accessible to the end users like a shopper.com product. That way, you as a DevOps engineer closely working with the developers. Well, what is the role path in a DevOps? Why the DevOps is playing an important role these days in order to make these type of web applications? DevOps is not a technology, it's a process. The DevOps is used by the developers, DevOps leads, cloud architects, DevOps engineers, security specialists, and the quality engineers, even the release managers. All these are the different roles that are there in IT industry, right? Directly or indirectly, all these different teams, all these different roles are having a dependency with the DevOps processes. Having said that, all these different teams must know the DevOps process, the culture, how it is playing the role in terms of transforming the code from the developer stage to the deployment stage to make it running and operational, as we see how it is running as a shopper.com. We are going to target in this DevOps practitioner training program how you guys can become the DevOps engineer taking the core responsibility of the DevOps processes and DevOps culture in terms of transforming your code stages towards the deployment. Well, what exactly the business is expecting out of this? As you know, the adshopper.com is up and running and it is accessible to the users, right? The high availability is something that the business is expecting. There will be one server behind the screen which is making your adshopper.com up and running. What is the case if that server gets destroyed for whatever the reason? The one more server has to be kicked off and that should be operating your adshopper.com products. That's how the high availability would be required even at an infrastructure level, at an application level. The infrastructure or application that is working behind the screens to give these type of web applications should be scalable. In the sense, what is the case if more number of users are accessing these web applications at the same time? The backend infrastructure has to be scaled automatically to increase the number of servers to meet the ongoing business demands. Your application continuously be monitored in order to ensure that the application is running as expected. I have shown you some of the tools like Grafana, Kibana, Istio, Kiali dashboards in order to ensure that the monitoring is in place to ensure that your applications are running healthy. The centralized logging as well, like the Kibana dashboards that I have shown you, should be required here to have a centralized logging in place to ensure that there are no logs, there are no errors are reported in the logs. Of course, the security is a major concern, right? So the web application which is accessible by the end user should be highly secured. You as a DevOps engineer, when you are processing the source code that is being developed by the developer towards the different stages and making it into the deployment, ensure that your application is highly available, scalable, being monitored, being centralized logging, having a security scan. But all of this should be a fast delivery. I don't want you to take a lot of time to implement all of these features, right? How will you ensure that these expectations are implemented with a fast delivery manner? That is where you as a DevOps engineer would require a automation skill in order to automate the process of transforming your source code towards the deployment stage. These are called as a core DevOps principles that you need to adopt while you are learning the DevOps Practitioner training program. Well, so I talked about the different principles, right? And let's talk about how your adshopper.com is being deployed. As I said some time back, when the developer is writing the source code of your product as a stage 1 or a step 1, the code has to be taken care by the DevOps engineer. The DevOps engineer has to process the source code. The DevOps engineer has to follow the collaboration technologies here in order to collaborate with the developer and take the code and make them it into a automation strategy by integrating a lot of DevOps tools and then deliver the code to the deployment. Once the code is delivered, then the application should be scalable automatically to meet the ongoing business demands. The application should be being monitored. The application should be a customer centric. That means the reliability of the application is major concern, right? And you should continue watching out for the improvements that you can add on to your automation strategy to increase the delivery speed and increase the fast delivery. And finally, your web application will be made accessible to the users. Have you ever thought of that you as a DevOps engineer learning the technology to deliver all of these different principles? If not, yes. Learning the technology is one hand, and the other hand, we need to understand how this technology is applying to meet these DevOps principles. To meet these DevOps principles, we need to have a proper learning path. and the different technologies too. To become the DevOps engineer, you would require some common primary skill sets. Linux essentials as a core basic prerequisites to become the DevOps engineer. AWS a cloud essential to become an infrastructure expert to understand the infrastructure deployments on the AWS. DevOps essentials in order to understand the various common important DevOps tool integrations. When we are focusing on the DevOps essential toolsets, we should be familiar with the Kubernetes, Git version controls, Bitbucket distribution version controls, Maven build tools, Artifactory, SonarQube, Ansible, reverse proxy servers, container technology, Grafana monitoring, Jenkins CI/CD, MySQL databases, Jira process management tool, the Kibana logging dashboards, Istio service mesh, Helm chart for the deployment, Fluentd as a log collector, Prometheus as the database store for your metrics, the Terraform as a automation of your infrastructure deployments. I am calling out some important toolsets that you should be aware of in order to become or apply the DevOps skills there to transform the developer's code towards the deployment and make your web application live as how it is running now with the edshopper.com. Lot of tools, right? Yes, we should be having the proper strategy in learning all of these. We are providing a weekly projects on every Friday to become the hands-on experience on these tools, and the final capstone projects, which is a real-time discussion and how these tools are solving a real-time problem, and how these tools are participated in giving you a real-time edshopper.com products. Worrying to learn all of these tools? Don't worry. You as a DevOps engineer need not to be expertise in all the DevOps tools. As you see here, you just need some of the basics in Linux. Don't worry in learning all the Linux expertise level administration tools. You would require some of the Ansible skill, require some of the Jenkins skill, more of Terraform, more of the AWS, lot of expertise in the Kubernetes. So each tool requires some of the skill set only to become the DevOps engineer. We are focusing exactly which tool, how much that you should be a expertise to become the DevOps engineer. How to learn all of these tools? We should be having a proper strategy. That is what we are going to start a DevOps practitioner training program with a step number 1 with the infrastructure management tools, AWS, Linux, Terraform, Packer, the configuration management tools like Ansible, continuous integration tools like Git, Bitbucket, Maven, JFrog, Jenkins, continuous security tools like a SonarQube, Sneak, to have a DevSecOps is implemented, continuous testing where we handle the Java JUnit testing, continuous delivery where we do the deployment it into your application servers, container orchestration we do a focus more on the Docker and the Kubernetes orchestration and the Helm deployments, continuous logging we do handle with the Kibana logging integration, continuous monitoring, that's where we handle the Grafana in association with the Prometheus database, alert configuration using Grafana, and there are few more add-ons like database concepts, API gateways, ActiveMQ messaging platforms, Kafka messaging platforms, Istio service mesh, a lot more. Do you think learning all these tool sets will make you as a DevOps engineer? May not be. You need still more skills. What are those? You need to expertise on these different tool sets. That's where we do provide you the weekly assignments. We do give you the real-time projects. We do handle the Agile processes methodologies, you as a DevOps engineer, right? And will assist you on the placement side in terms of the mock interviews, in terms of the resume preparation, in terms of the references, whatnot. Yes, take the technical support during the learning time, guys, and be expertise, and then you will become the real DevOps engineer professional. Sounds good, right? That's where we are coming up with the strategy called work before get job, because you are really working hard in terms of doing the hands-on experience in all of these different tools to make your edshopper.com product online and available. If you ask me about the projects, yes, we do handle the AWS infrastructure and automation projects, the Jenkins CI/CD pipeline automation, the microservices architecture, the S3 bucket policies automations, and Jenkins infrastructure pipelines. These are the top 5 capstone projects covering all of the different DevOps tool sets if you go through. Still thinking, is this the real-time training? As I said, one side you have to be expertise on the technical, that's where we handle the weekly projects and the capstone projects. The other side you should be familiar with the process perspective, that is where we do handle the roles and responsibilities, right? Tell about yourself, projects, daily tasks, interview preparation, scrum processes, resume help. Then you will definitely become the DevOps engineer, understanding all these different DevOps processes and the culture in place. Going through the duration, yes, this is exactly 100 days of a training program, which includes the training plus the project discussions. Still having more questions? Don't worry. Get the contact details in the description of this video and connect back to us so that we are there here to help you on your career path to become the DevOps engineer. Thank you.